It is a new day. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Louie, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing tonight?
I've been better. Because I know my fate.
Hey, I've been better too. Okay,
Oh, okay. All right, that's good. That makes me feel a little better. Hey guys, I don't know if you remember from last week.
What are those?
We made a very silly bet, and
I know. After we left it, I was like, did I just mess up or did he mess up? I was like,
I was watching the end of that game too, and they started coming back in such a really bizarre fashion. But by then it was too late to beat the spread that we created.
and then I started thinking, I was like, wait, did he accept it? Did I say that the Patriots would score 30 points? Or did I say that they would win by 30? And I was like, no, I definitely wouldn't have said they scored 30 because that's a given.
It's a given. Yeah. It was win by 30. What was the final score? It was like 21 points more than the Giants, and
Yeah.
I'm even gonna say
I was doing that. I was like, wait, that's 4 touchdowns and a field goal that I have a buffer. So I got this.
You know what? If Golden Tate didn't come down with that miraculous
That's true.
7-yard catch, I still wouldn't have won. So, it was a silly bet. Here's the habanero. I'll do it right now just to get it out of the way, and it'll maybe be entertaining the rest of the video for everybody. So
Cheers.
Cheers. While I'm doing this, Louie, we're in week 7. Do you want to give us a week 6 recap?
I sure do. This is going down on YouTube history right now.
Here we go.
Ooh, the crunch. This is like a ASMR
stuff.
What's that video that people watch for the sounds? ASMR or something? I don't know what they're called. All right, starting us off. High score this week. Eric taking me down 154. First time this year I couldn't put over 100 points. I came close with 99. But Eric just dominated. Next highest score looks like Josh, you 144. You've been putting on a show the last few weeks, so good for you taking down the number 1 seed, Berries and Cream. Just under 20 points of victory margin. That's great.
Yep.
Bottom of the barrels are no longer bottom of the barrels. They do beat the other Scott 118 to 105. Gordo does take down Prescott Sterling 140 to 92. That's a great week for you, Matt. And Nuketown, I think this may have been the closest. No, not the closest, but Nuketown taking down Circuit of Brown. You doing all right there, Josh?
I got the hiccups.
Oh, you got the spicy food hiccups.
Yep. There you go.
Well, Josh is guzzling. We're going to move into our half point for the year. We have a half pounder episode. We did the quarter pounder 2, 3, 4 weeks ago.
Now we're on to the half pounder.
Weeks ago, and now we're on to the half pounder. Well, you're catching up. Do you want to go? You want me to go?
Tell you what. After that recap, let me just give a quick recap on the pick'ems, just because it's fun. Louis, last week you had a perfect score of 5 for 5. You have moved up to 20, guessing 20 out of 30, correct?
Oh,
I missed one game.
6%.
I missed it by one game, and that's because I had myself losing. What can I say? I'll take the 4 out of 5 on that one for that. Yeah, small price to pay. So I'm out of 19 out of 30. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. You're up by 1.
We're doing really good. We're doing really well.
Half pounder, my friend, take it away.
All right, so half pounder. I don't know how we jumped into this last time. I'll just run down the list. We will start with people that I somehow mapped out how many wins they would end with. We're going to start with, I guess I'll start with first place.
Yeah.
Currently sitting in second place is Gordo. I had them finishing the year with 9 wins.
Nice.
They will finish 9-4, ending in first seed overall. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I did a lot of things when I do this. For instance, myself, I gave myself second place. Last time we did this, I gave myself 11 wins. Now I've backed off and only have given myself 8 because I don't think I can mathematically have 11 wins anymore.
That's okay.
Let's see. Third place goes to Eric. His team has been looking really sharp. I don't think my predictions are correct. I think I'll have more than the 7 wins that I gave him in my half pounder. Fourth is going to Danny. After a slow start to the season, I have him also finishing with 7 wins. Fifth, I have Chet at there, our third and final 7-win contender. And the 6th place, I was between 2 teams. I was looking at where they were currently, and I had to give the nod to Robbie for his hot start. I know he's already got 5 wins, but I'm sorry, Robbie. I don't know how I have you only finishing with 6. But as we all know, anything can happen any given day, any given week. News is happening all the time, especially to players that we think are healthy, like Tyrell Williams today, for instance.
Oh,
so
thanks, man.
you just can't prepare for these things sometimes.
Pickups also change things, so you never really know.
Yeah, very true. So that brings us to our first Sacco Bowl contender. That goes to Prescott Sterling. I have them finishing 6 and 7. They are 2 and 4 right now, so I mean you're going to get 4 wins, the rest of the way out, which is pretty nice. And you'll be right on the cusp. I sort of had the cutoff line. 7 wins will guarantee you a spot in the playoffs at this moment in time. 6. I don't know if we kind of, after crunching the numbers, I don't know if we had similar.
I think 7 would probably guarantee it.
Yeah.
6 is definitely going to be a weird cutoff for most of the teams. At least I have the same thing looking like that.
Okay. So we had Prescott Sterling as the first contender, the number 7 seed. Then we had bottom of the barrels finishing 5 and 8. Then we had Silver Sterling also 5 and 8. And Josh, I am so sorry. I have apologized to you many a times over this, but I have you at 4 and 9. There were 2 differences in the Sacco and playoff bracket that I had. Before I had in the Sacco Chet, Scott Dale, Scott Lyjak, and Josh. This time around, I have Scott Ranicky. He's the new adder. Scott Dale, Scott Lyjak, and Josh. So it's going to be a Scott Bowl as
a Scott Bowl at the end.
If your name is Scott, watch out.
Watch out. You'll be joining a Josh.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is like so hard to. I believe in all of you. So,
I mean, it's going to be tight. I have the cutoff at 6 wins. I have 4 teams with 6 wins in my predictions, and then above that, I have 2 teams with 7 and 1 team with 5. Like, this is going to be just as tight as we would think, except for 1 team I have still with a double-digit finishing here. So I guess I'll just go ahead and go through mine here. I will start at number 1. I have Too Many Cooks coming out on top with 10 wins. Their team is looking really tough.
I can see that. I can agree to that too.
Yeah, they're putting up mad points. Got strong running backs and flexes, and just looking good. I like it all the way through. Coming in second place, because of their hot start and getting off to 5 and 1. I actually have Berries and Cream. getting 8 wins. I think
Nice.
some of these bye weeks coming up are going to shake things up a little bit more for most of these matchups than we think. So berries and cream. I'm sorry, my nose is running.
You got this, Josh.
Whoa. So
Low,
berries and cream. Huh?
worse or same or better than the Blazing Challenge?
Yeah, it's lower than the Blazing Challenge.
Better.
It's better.
Or easier.
It's a small price to pay for a fun bet. I like it. So I have finishing in third place, Nucktown with 7 wins. Also 7 wins. You have the same.
Hey.
Yeah. So Danny, you're looking pretty good. Let's just hope that Juju and Hopkins can figure their shit out too.
Shit out. Yeah.
Coming in at 4, I'm giving myself a little bit more of an ego boost than I probably should. I've given myself 7 wins. We'll see what happens.
You're 3-3 right now, so that's 4 wins the rest of the way out. I think you can manage that. Not according to my predictions, though, but
Right.
I think you can.
Mean, out of 7 games, there would have to be 4 of them that come out on top. God,
it's so crazy. We only have 7.
Yeah, only 7 games left in the regular season. I think bye weeks might help me out. Maybe some boom facts here. I don't know. But right below me at number 5, I've got you, Kerryon My Wayward Son, with 6 wins. You're starting off the first of 4 teams with 6 wins, but I think you're going to have the higher score out of everybody. And just barely making the cut, I have Prescott Sterling. He just missed the cut for yours, but he made the cut on mine. I think.
Yes, just missed. I'm sorry. You won't obviously hear any of this until later in the show, or maybe later tonight.
But yeah, then we got the Sacco contenders. At least for my predictions, bottom of the barrel. Listen, man, you come back with 6 wins. I like your chances. Who knows what's going to happen here, but I have you on the cusp. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cirque de Brown coming in at number 8 with 6 wins as well. I know he's 4-2. This is the same thing along with your stuff here. I have Gordo only getting 1 more win. Listen, man, I hope things work out. You got a solid team, so it can go either way. I'm just surprise factors. We don't know. Coming in at number 10, we got Silver Sterlings with 4 wins. We'll see what happens. Some moves have been made. We've got trades that just went down today, yesterday.
Yeah,
Who knows if that'll
get it done earlier in the day, would you?
I tell you what, yeah, I did your matchup with Chet at lunch. I got that all figured out. It was great, and then he made 2 different moves on me, and now I gotta redo everything. I tell you what, man. I am dying, but I'm gonna try to fight through this. It's my stomach is on fire. I can feel it. That part is what's getting me. But yeah, so guys, that's our half pounder predictions. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
With all of that.
Best of luck to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, best of luck. That being said, let's jump into the games that we have coming up here. I'm going to start off with Gordo versus Silver Sterling. Do the quarterback matchup. Gordo's got Matt Ryan versus the Los Angeles Rams. They're 19th when it comes to 19th worst or best. I can't remember. They're pretty solid against the quarterback here. Matt Ryan has not had a game with less than 300 yards throwing. He's had 258 pass attempts on the year. He is going airborne.
Yeah.
He is QB number 2 on the year, despite having 8 turnovers. I like his chances here. I think this is actually going to be a really big shootout between the Rams and Atlanta, more so than we would probably think. On the other side here, Silver Sterling's bringing the A game with Patrick Mahomes. He's going up against Denver. Denver has been extremely solid against the QB position this year. Top 3. The thing is, though, they have played Derek Carr, Mitch Trubisky, the Aaron Rodgers of today, not of yesterday, Gardner Minshew, Phillip Rivers, a struggling Phillip Rivers, and Marcus Mariota this past Sunday. This might be their first true test. Yeah. I think the ankle is still bothering him, even though it's not listed in the injury report. He just doesn't look like the same Mahomes that started off the year. So I'm actually going to give this in favor of Matt Ryan because that man is balling out. And he's going to have a good game. Coming up for the wide receivers, Tyler Boyd versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville is about middle of the pack, but Jalen Ramsey is now leaving. Gone. He is gone. Andy Dalton is balling out. Like, their offensive line is terrible. Joe Mixon is not getting any work done on the ground, so they've been going through the air. We've seen it earlier in the season with John Ross, even though he's gone. Tyler Boyd. We'll see what happens here. Excuse me. Boyd has had 4 out of 6 games of 10 or more targets. I think this is a good opportunity for him. Pair him with Will Fuller, the 5th, against Indianapolis. Indianapolis just one notch behind Jacksonville, middle of the pack against the wide receiver position. He is a great complement, wide receiver to Hopkins. He's averaging 8 targets a game. You know, he balled out 2 weeks ago, had legendary performance, and almost had another 3 touchdown day. This past weekend, he dropped 2 more balls that could have been easily scored. He's averaging 74 yards a game through the air. This is a really good opportunity. I like these wide receivers. But you got Michael Thomas, one of the most consistent wide receivers, coming up first for Silver Sterling, and a great keeper indeed. He's extremely consistent. Even with a quarterback change, he has not had less than 12.9 points. He is the wide receiver 2 on the year. There may or may not have Kamara. Like, you got to give this man another consistent performance. Chicago has allowed, he's going up against Chicago, but Chicago has allowed at least one receiver, whether it be a tight end or a wide receiver, at least one per game, to go crazy on him. This is going to be Michael Thomas. Absolutely. And then you have Tyreek Hill versus Denver. Denver has been 32nd. They are the strongest against the wide receiver. And there again, it's just because of the teams they've played, the quarterbacks they've played. I think that's what's cushioning their stats. Tyreek Hill, his first game back, he had 10 targets, 5 catches, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. He is, again, reestablished himself as Mahomes' favorite receiver. He is unstoppable. I'm giving these wide receivers to Silver Sterling, hands down. For the running back position, we've got Gordo coming up with David Johnson versus New York Giants. They are very generous to the running back position this year. There is a back injury that we still have to monitor. It could be a little bit more severe than we think. But he's a tough running back. He's running back number 7 on the year, despite a pretty bad O-line. The receptions have helped a lot. He's had 33 receptions on the year. If he can't get it done on the ground behind his O-line, he's doing it through the air. I love him in this matchup. Just on the ground alone, Sony Michel put up 86 yards. So give David Johnson the benefit of the doubt, even with a bad back. Aaron Jones is the second running back here versus Oakland. It's tough to run on Oakland, and it's apparently tough to catch balls from Aaron Rodgers, or at least that's what it looked like this past week for Aaron Jones. He fumbled. He missed a touchdown. He took a back seat to Jamal Williams. This offense is tough to figure out. His rushing attempts through the past 6 games, he's had 13, 23, 10, 13, 19, 11 rushes. It's all game script for that team. The one thing that I can say is that his targets are helping. He's got 1 target, 6 targets, 1 target, 7, 8, 7 throughout the 6-game spread. As long as he continues to get those targets and doesn't fumble and catches them all, like, he might be in a great position here, especially if they can't get anything done on the ground. For Silver Sterlings, James White versus the Jets. Jets are about middle of the pack to the running back position. Let's be honest here, James White, not so much a running back anymore. I think he's working out with the right wide receivers in practices now. Leave it to Lyjak to pick some really consistent players here. In 6 games, James White has not had less than 9 points in a game, fantasy points in a game, and not more than 10.7 points. Yeah. Looks like you're definitely getting at least 9.5 points from James White. I expect it here again. I expect the trend to continue. Joe Mixon, recent trade pickup for Silver Sterlings, coming in against Jacksonville. Jacksonville is pretty bad against the run. They love going after the quarterback. Saxville loves going after the quarterback, and that's probably what's going to happen here. And they're probably going to get behind the O-line pretty fast, so it might not bode well enough for Joe Mixon. He's had only one game of 100 total yards. Last game, he only had 8 rush attempts. It's hard. It's hard to trust anything with Cincinnati. Tyler Boyd might be one of the better options here, and that's just throwing out it on a limb there. I don't know. So running backs in favor of Gordo. Tight ends, we got Austin Hooper coming up for Gordo, playing against the Rams. They're 14th. Middle of the pack again for tight ends. Man, this is really killing me.
It's very entertaining.
Austin Hooper, he's been incredible. He's tight end number 1 on the year. Great pickup, averaging 11.3 fantasy points. He's had 50% of his games have been 21 points or more, fantasy points or more. It's a different kind of 1-2 punch that we're used to here, and I love it. This is a great 1-2 punch to have Matt Ryan, Austin Hooper. I'm going to give him an advantage over Dawson Knox. Yes, I like Dawson Knox. He's playing Miami. You go up against Miami, you're bound to get some points, maybe even a touchdown. But Dawson Knox hasn't had a game over 67 yards or a game over 3 catches. Miami is really bad, but I think everybody's going to have a field day here. Everybody on that team is going to have a field day, and then eventually they're going to go up so much that they're just going to run the ball. So, advantage Hooper. Now we're going to the flex position, Melvin Gordon versus Tennessee. Tennessee's pretty good against the run, and we have seen since Melvin Gordon has been back, we don't know what's happening, actually. We've seen that we don't know what we see. 2 games he's been back. He's only got a total of 87 yards combined. He's only had 27 touches. He's not going anywhere with this. It looks like Eckler's still involved. It's a running back by committee. Not sure how strong this flex is going to be. It's worth a shot, though. You got to play Gordo. You absolutely do. You got to play your studs. It's just not going to be a matchup for DJ Chark. This guy is incredibly good. I think he's definitely found his niche here, because DJ Shark, DJ Shark. Yeah, he's got his own theme song now. Like, they're playing Cincinnati. Gardner Minshew loves this dude. D.D. Westbrook is not as involved because DJ Shark has taken over. He's actually had 5 or more targets a game. He is wide receiver number 4 on the year. It was an $8 purchase off of waivers. Great purchase, great pickup for a wide receiver 4. Let's give a couple of shout outs to the San Francisco defense. They're playing lights out all year. Good job picking them up, Gordo. They're playing Washington.
Yeah,
Yeah, very nice. Justin Tucker, shout out to Justin Tucker because Justin Tucker, you know. That's that. Bold predictions. Matt Ryan throws 5 interceptions.
Wow.
Still gets 32 fantasy points on the day.
So what would have been 42 points is now 32 points.
Now 32 points. Bold prediction on the other side of the ball. Joe Mixon runs for 17 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 catches.
How many rush attempts? How many rush attempts?
Oh, I didn't even try it in a rush attempt. I'd say no more than 12. Sorry if this one was a little slow here, boys, but I was fighting off the pepper. I have in this game Gordo taking the cake very easily by 14 points. That's my pick 'em.
I agree with that pick 'em. I'll take them as well. Point spread might be well, who knows? Our point spread, we've been so generous with our point spread, so 14 points.
Yeah, I think Denver applies a little bit of pressure to Pat Mahomes, while Matt Ryan, like I said, just goes bonkers. And I just love these running backs, the matchups, the opportunities. As long as Jamal doesn't take over again, should be okay. Ooh,
definitely. All right. Well, let's move on to my matchup.
Yes, sir.
My phone will. There we go. I am going to start off with Too Many Cooks up against Berries and Cream. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. Too Many Cooks, they're throwing out Aaron Rodgers at home against Oakland. Aaron Rodgers is quarterback number 14 on the year.
Okay.
Number 14 on the year. He's got over 1,500 passing yards, 11 touchdowns. He does have 5 interceptions, which is, as we all know, is pretty on Aaron Rodgers-like.
Yeah.
And 16 sackaroonies.
Oof. We're getting to Aaron Rodgers this year.
Yeah. Barry's is throwing out Lamar Jackson. He's been a solid play this whole year. They are in Seattle. They could be sleepless. However, he is the quarterback number 6. Sorry, I just thought of that.
That was good.
He is quarterback number 6 on the year. He does have more passing yards. He's got 1,590 on the year. Only 8 touchdown passes. I'll get to his rushing touchdowns in just a moment. He does only have 2 interceptions, so really good for a young gun. He's playing within his game, and he's doing really well. Only 11 sacks. It's a little high, but for a young player, still working everything out, I don't think that's terrible. Lamar Jackson does have 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. However, so does Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, all right.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. I am going to give the advantage to Rodgers home. Okay. Adams might be back. I don't know if we have any official word on that yet. I don't know where he's trending, but he could be back. And Rodgers at home is a lot harder to beat than I think the 12th man in Seattle. So
yes.
Wide receivers, Too Many Cooks. Stephon Diggs after a breakout performance last week. Yeah. Really did not enjoy seeing that, but for any Diggs owners, I'm sure they were thrilled. With that, it boosted him up to the 14th wide receiver on the year.
There you go.
So I'm going to look at one thing. I didn't have him last week. Yeah, so 14th on the year. He's had 34 targets, 23 receptions, 4 touchdowns, 420 yards. He's averaging 18.2 per catch. Again, a lot of that is fluffed from last week, but well-deserved.
Right. Yep.
Also, Brandon Cooks at Atlanta, he's been the wide receiver 37 on the year, 37 targets, 23 receptions, only one touchdown, 343 yards, averaging 14.9. Still not terrible. But he's not the Brandon Cooks that we're used to seeing from last year, from when he was with the Saints. But there's a lot of mouths to feed on that Rams offense. So, but we'll see. The Berries are throwing out Julian Edelman and Kenny Golladay. Julian Edelman is at the New York Jets. He's the wide receiver number 15 on the year. He's had 56 targets, which is outstanding. 38 receptions, which is the most in this matchup. Only 2 reception touchdowns, but that's to be expected with the kind of player he is. He's not an end zone target. He's going to get his touchdowns from, 15, 20, 30 yards out. He's had 449 receiving yards, which sounds excellent, but he's only averaging about 11.81 per reception.
Okay.
Which is actually the lowest in this matchup. Try looking at that. Kenny Golladay at home against Minnesota. I believe that's going to be a tough matchup.
Yes.
Those divisional games that we've seen lately have just been really weirdly low scoring.
Yeah.
Very slow and almost unexciting to watch. He's actually the wide receiver number 16 on the year. 45 targets, 24 receptions, 4 touchdowns, 364 yards. He's averaging 15.1 per reception. So, Stafford, let's throw him the ball some more, yeah?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to have to give the advantage to the Berries here.
Okay.
I like their plays. Diggs is, emerging, but the consistent play from Edelman and Golladay, I think consistency beats boom or bust every other week or something. So
that's fair.
Let's see, but all of them have pretty good matchups. I mean, no one really has a minus matchup that week or this week. Going over to the running backs, we got Dalvin Cook at Detroit, running back number 2 on the year. He's at 108 rush attempts, 583 yards. He's averaging 5.4 per carry. He's got 6 touchdowns, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Also in the passing game, he's had 26 targets, 23 receptions for 213 yards. So that's a lot of play there.
A lot of play.
And then we got Leonard Fournette, who I think is as good. I mean, for these two, almost avoided drafting these guys. A lot of people have avoided drafting these guys. Eric has managed to have them both on their team, and they are both. So the Dalvin Cook's running back 2, Leonard Fournette's the running back 5, which is phenomenal. He's had 115 rush attempts, 584 yards, actually 1 more yard than Dalvin Cook, only averaging around 5 yards a carry, only 1 rushing touchdown. But he's had a lot of passing work too. He's had 36 targets, 26 receptions, 189 yards. Assuming Alvin Kamara doesn't play, I have to not read that line. But Marlon Mack still a great start. He's at home against Houston. He's the running back 16 on the year, and he's been phenomenal. He's been very efficient.
I'm surprised he's only 16, man.
I know, dude. The running backs this year have exploded. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I feel like every team out in our league now has a stud running back. Marlon Mack, though, 101 rush attempts, 470 yards, so he's right around 4.6, 4.7 per carry. He's had 2 rushing touchdowns. Not a whole lot of work in the passing game, though. Only 9 targets, 7 receptions for 42 yards. And pretty similar story to the newly acquired Jordan Howard. He'll be at Dallas. He's only had 66 rush attempts, but Philly has 4 running backs. But Jordan Howard, as of late, has really been coming into his own. 297 rushing yards, averaging about 4.5, 4 touchdowns, though, so that's kind of saving his year. He's the running back 20. I don't think I said that.
Okay.
But just like Mac, only 9 targets. Jordan Howard has 6 receptions for only 47 yards.
Okay.
So these are 2 ground and pound running backs. But I got to give the advantage to too many cooks. Just for having the running back 2 and 5 on the year, I think they're going to really explode again. They got both. They both have plus matchups at Detroit, at Cincinnati. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath. Going over to the tight ends, Mark Andrews, who's been the tight end number 2 on the year, just behind Austin Hooper. He's at Seattle. He's had 47 targets, which is really good for a tight end position. 34 receptions, 410 receiving yards. He's averaging 12 yards per catch, and he has 3 touchdowns on the year. Going up against Jason Witten. He is the tight end number 10, so he is in the top 10. Great
He's
to see
been
him
pretty
back.
efficient.
Great to see him back out on the field, honestly. And with Amari Cooper potentially missing this week, maybe some more time, Jason Witten is another threat, especially with Randall Cobb as well. I mean, they got Michael Gallup, and then Jason Witten's going to be right there. He's only had 27 targets, 22 receptions, 230 yards. He's averaging just over 10 at 10.4, and he's had 2 touchdowns on the year. And he is at home against Philly. Got to give the advantage to Mark Andrews, hands down.
Yes.
Plus matchup at Seattle, but Seattle's been kind of bad against the tight end. Then we got the flex. We got Lev Bell at home against New England.
Lev Bell's a flex.
And this is going to be an interesting matchup, that New England Jets game. I can't wait to see that. He's running back 19 on the year. Only 85 rush attempts. Earlier when I was talking about them, they were almost all over 100 except for Alvin Kamara. He's had 256 yards. He's only averaging 3 yards a carry. That's very inefficient. He's only had 1 rushing touchdown, but he gets a lot of work in the passing game. He's had 33 targets, 28 receptions, 169 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then is Golden Tate not in this matchup anymore, is he? Nope. You done did it to me, Robbie.
You done did
it. Cortland Sutton is a fine play. He's going up against KC. KC could be putting up points. This could be a weird game, though, where it's low scoring. And Patrick Mahomes just doesn't know what to do. Cortland Sutton, however, is going to be used. I'm surprised he's not owned in over 90% of Yahoo leagues. He's only at 87. Dude's an animal this year. He's a favorite. I think he has at least 10 to 20 more targets than Emmanuel Sanders on the year. So I expect good things. I had some fun stuff about Golden Tate, but never mind. Score spread. Oh, advantage. Love Bell all day. Score spread. I am giving this to the Cooks. The Cooks have emerged as you have them finishing with 10 wins. They are dominating this year. They've had a couple of off weeks, but their team is high scoring. I have them winning by 25.
By 25.
Obviously, it could be closer, but we've seen how some of these matchups go. If it's not close, it's a blowout. So I'm gonna give him the blowout win. I think he's got a lot of plus matchups, more plus matchups than the Berries. Unfortunately,
I agree. I honestly don't know how they're only 3-3 right now. I have them winning by 12 this game. And by most of our regular predictions, that's a blowout. But damn, 25.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I was like, I could see this being like 25. I'm just gonna write 25.
That's fair.
I do have some bold predictions for you, though. Marlon Mack, 200 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Wow. I don't think he's broken over 200 yet. I'm going to give him 200 this game.
Okay.
Fournette, I got him at 195, not breaking the 200 mark. However, he does have 30 receiving yards, and he's going to finish with 3 touchdowns. Yes.
Woo! Big day. Big day for Fournette. I see you. Shit. Okay. I have them winning as well. Good stuff, my friend. Good stuff. All right. Well, with that being said, let's move into the next game. I've got Kerryon, my wayward son, versus versus Circle de Brown. Love it. Versus. Damn you, Chet, for switching up your entire team, pretty much.
I know. I thought I was gonna have a cakewalk. You only had.
Now you switch things up on me. I'm gonna be Louis. When I get to it, I'm gonna love to hear your facts about Golden Tate because this was extremely last minute for me. I have nothing on Golden Tate, so give me a second. I'll turn to you. I'll use you as a lifeline in just a bit. Well, let's start off at the quarterback position. Kyler Murray, we got for you starting off against the New York Giants. Giants are bottom 6 against the quarterback position. Kyler Murray had himself a day last Sunday. 340 yards to the air, 3 touchdowns. And, he loves to use his legs. He didn't use it very much this past week. But the Giants did allow Tom Brady to have 2 rushing touchdowns. So let's just say that Kyler Murray gets in on the ground by himself again, and then maybe throws into the air. Whatever the case, he's going to have some fun. Kyler Murray, to be a fun fact here, he's had the 8th most passing yards, and he's right behind Russell Wilson in that aspect. I think he's going to have another great game. He's only thrown 4 interceptions. Love the matchup here. I was also going to love the matchup of Josh Allen against Miami, but not as much as I like the matchup of Goff versus Atlanta. This is going to be, like I said in my first predictions matchup here, I think this is going to be a shootout. He's riding the Goff train again. He reboarded the train, and it's at a really good stop. Right now, Goff is quarterback 3 on the year, despite having an absolutely terrible performance last week. Only 78 yards through the air. Wow, that was disgusting. But here's a bounce back week. Atlanta is allowing the 2nd most points to the quarterback. He's got all of his weapons back. Cooks is back. Everybody there is hungry, ready to eat some fantasy points up here. I think with this pickup, because I think it's going to be a shootout, I think I'm giving the advantage to Goff. So, well done there, Chet. Well done. We're going to the wide receivers. Julio Jones, he's going to be facing the Rams. Like I said, shootout. He just posted 100 yards last week, just over 100 yards. He's averaging 9 targets a game. This might be the last difficult game. Like, he might be covered a little bit, but this might be his last difficult game before the bye.
If Ramsey plays.
Yes, that is extremely huge because they just did ship off Marcus Peters. So if Ramsey does not play, maybe he has a field day because there might not be anybody good back there. He's still top 10 wide receiver. I think he's number 8. He's been having a great start to the year. Love him in this matchup. Amari Cooper, I hope he plays for you.
We'll see.
This is a great matchup for him.
I know. God dang it.
Philadelphia allowing the most points to the wide receiver position. That thigh bruise, man. Thigh bruise, quad injury, whatever they're listing him as now. Maybe it's all the above. Maybe it's even more than we think. He only had the 2 targets last week, and then he went out. Yeah. Not a very good sign. Maybe it gave him a little bit more rest. I don't know what to say for you. I like Christian Kirk as a pickup. I tried to do it last week. He practiced 3 days during the regular week for Christian Kirk. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up sitting on Sunday. So I don't know what you're going to have to do here for your second wide receiver slot. If it's still Amari Cooper and he plays through it and he's a tough dude, this is going to be great for you.
And I would just like to make a public service announcement. Do not drink and fab, okay? Or you
Uh,
will end up spending $23 on Christian Kirk, a player that might not even play that week. I thank you.
there you go. Public service announcement. Well done. Well done. So we'll go to the other side of the ball here. DK Metcalf. He has been a very boom or bust character. He's only had one game of 7 or more targets. He's playing Baltimore this week. They seem to be letting the ball go through the air more so than in years past. Metcalf has only had 50% of games of more than 5 targets a game. Like he needs more targets, and I don't know if he's going to get it here. Maybe he will. Will Disley is now on injured reserve. Russell is playing great football. I don't know if Luke Wilson is going to step into the same slot Will Disley did. Tyler Lockett still gets looks. It's just really how they manage the ball game. Chris Carson could run away with this. He's been going beast mode lately. It's tough to say. Mm-hmm. So now for the second wide receiver, it is Golden Tate versus Arizona. Arizona, bottom 10 in terms of stopping the wide receiver here. Golden Tate just had a monster game against New England, no less. But that was without Saquon Barkley, without Sterling Shepard, without Evan Ingram in the game. Who else did they really have to go to? So who knows what else he could do if he's going to continue this kind of performance, this kind of consistency. He was on a different team last year. In fact, Lifeline, what kind of fun stats did you have on Golden Tate?
So I had he had 15 targets last week, which is the most of any Giants pass catcher, tight end included. Evan Ingram only had, I think he had 14 in week 1. Golden Tate had 15 last week for a total of 9 receptions, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. He did have that great catch. That really helped him. However, I think he is that kind of player, though. I think this was kind of a boom week for him. But he's back now. I think he has the trust of Danny Dimes. And he's averaging 12.7 per reception through 1 game. I mean, what's not to like about that? So
I love the matchup against Arizona here. It's a great opportunity for him. I just don't know what or how the distribution is going to go here. I don't know.
Who was the trade? It was Golden Tate for
Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard, yeah.
I don't know that
we'll see how that one of Golden Tate.
Yeah.
Well, with Kamara up in the air, status up in the air, it's probably something they needed to do. So we'll see how that trade pans out next time we do a little segment transaction talks. In the meantime, let's see if we can give an advantage here. I am going out on a limb and saying Amari Cooper does not play.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still giving you an advantage. Even if Christian Kirk does not play, I think Emmanuel Sanders has an opportunity to make this a very interesting game if that's who you have to plug in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to make that decision tomorrow. So, best of luck to you on that one there.
Maybe.
So we'll move on to the running backs here.
We'll see.
Let's see. Todd Gurley versus Atlanta. Atlanta's middle of the pack in terms of running back, given the fantasy points to the running back here. He was inactive last week, very late last week. I think it was Saturday we got the information that the quad injury was just way too much for him. If he plays, this could be a very juicy matchup. He just needs to get the targets. Again, this is where he's going to shine. This is where anybody on that team is going to shine. Goff is going to go through the air a lot this game, especially. It's going to be I said shootout. Dare I say it again? Shootout.
I said it.
I said it, damn it. It's going to be a shootout, and if Todd Gurley plays, he needs to get those targets. But there's another question mark tag on one of your players. I don't know what to expect for you. Kerryon Johnson is your other running back. He's playing Minnesota. Top 5 against the running back. They've been great this year. He saved his 61-yard performance day with a touchdown last week. It's tough. Like you said, these division games have been pretty nasty. Yahoo still hasn't projected to go 11th best running back this week. It might be tough. It might be a tough road ahead for him. We'll see how these pan out for you. Sony Michel's coming in for Cirque de Brown. He's playing New Jersey. The Jets. Not New York Jets. The New York Jets, they're middle of the pack when it comes
to New York jerseys.
The New Jersey Jets. Yeah, that's right. Ship them off. They don't want them there no more. When the when the Pats are ahead, this is Sony Michel. This is his game. Like, this is the guy they turn to. He ran the ball 22 times last week. He had 86 yards on the ground. They were ahead pretty much from start to finish. Tom Brady vultured 2 touchdowns. That's weird.
That was funny.
Rex Burkhead, James White, they're still a factor. I don't necessarily know how Sony Michel plays out. I think if they go ahead, that Michel might actually be a really good play for them here. Tevin Coleman, second running back here. He's facing Washington. Washington is bottom 5 when it comes to stopping the running backs. San Francisco loves to run the ball. They are averaging 32 runs a game. It's a running back by committee, sure. Breida, Coleman, who knows? But tell you what, doesn't matter. They're efficient at it. They've only thrown the ball over 250 yards twice out of their 5 games. They've only thrown over 200 yards 3 times. So 50% of their games, they're under 200 yards thrown. Tevin Coleman's averaging 55 yards a game. He's only played 3 games. He's scored in 2 of those 3 games. This is a great play. As long as he's completely healthy, Coleman might give the a running back advantage here to Cirque de Brown. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it to Cirque de Brown for the running backs. Tight ends, Evan Ingram, he's back. He's practicing in full. He's going against Arizona. Arizona completely forgets what a tight end is. Doesn't matter who's playing them, what team is playing them, how bad the tight end is. I'm pretty sure at this point O.J. Howard would get a lot of points against Evan Ingram against Arizona. He's practicing in full. Arizona's giving 17 points to the tight end position. He's the tight end 4 on the year. There again, a lot of people are coming back. I think even Shepard is practicing and is potentially coming out of the concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants are going to have a full team. They haven't had this since like week 2. So
yeah, right.
We'll see what they do with the distribution of the ball. The other tight end in this matchup, Zach Ertz, he's playing against Dallas. They're bottom 10 against the tight end position. Zach Ertz still only has 1 touchdown this season. He's been taking a backseat in the red zone to people like Alshon Jeffrey or even Jordan Howard. Ertz still has 9 targets a game. He's heavily involved, heavily needed. Dallas is giving up about 8 points on average, fantasy points to the tight end position. I think he's going to have a decent day. I'm just giving the boom potential here to Evan Ingram, especially if he's fully healthy. Tight end advantage, carry on my wayward son. We're going to go next to the flex position. Phillip Lindsay, he's playing Kansas City. Kansas City, bottom 10 against the running back. Phillip Lindsay is very efficient, especially when it comes to receiving. He's caught 73% of all of his passes this year. In the last 3 games, he's been targeted 8 times. He's only missed 1 catch. He's extremely efficient. He's a top 12 running back on the year so far. Even if Royce Freeman's getting involved, it doesn't matter. These guys are a really good committee, and this is a great way that they move the chain. So I like Phillip Lindsay this matchup, especially against the KC defense. Coming up for the flex for the Browns is Carlos Hyde. He's going against Indianapolis. They're pretty strong against the running back position, top 8. Carlos Hyde is starting to get the volume. The past 2 games, he's had over 20 rushing attempts. But what I'm seeing here is when DeAndre Hopkins or Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, or just when the passing game is efficient, when the passing game is effective, that's when Carlos Hyde gets involved. I'm pretty sure when they go up, he gets involved. Game management. That's where he's involved. If they're behind and they're struggling, which Watson has been struggling a couple times this year, Carlos Hyde has just about 10 touches, 10 rushing attempts at most. So we'll see how they fare against Indianapolis. Their defense has been surprising this season. Their offense has been surprising this season. This could be a back and forth game. Honestly, they stopped Mahomes. They did a really good job of holding that team to only 13 points. If they do that, they take Carlos Hyde out of this game, and I will give you the flex advantage.
I would like to say during this conversation, I did switch Philip Lindsay and Todd Gurley because I didn't want to leave a Thursday night game in my flex and not have the flexibility to play a flex play if should Gurley not play. So
okay, all right. Well, there you go. That's absolutely fair. A couple of shout outs. Buffalo defense going against Miami. Fitzmagic is now the starting quarterback. He may not be the quarterback halfway through the game. We'll see what happens, man. Other shout out, Greg the Leg. We don't need to say more. Bold prediction, Philip Lindsay goes for 180 total yards and 3 touchdowns. We're going to go bold and say their original wide receiver that they had in wide receiver 2 slot, Cole Beasley, he goes for 150 yards on 4 catches and 1 touchdown on the bench. However, Golden Tate goes for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's probably going to be a better wide receiver play anyways. I have Cirque de Brown winning this game by just about 7 points, and I'm only saying this because there again, dare I say it, a shootout. Jared Goff might actually be decent in this matchup.
That's fair.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree.
And I completely understand.
I will give myself the win this week. But
that's fair.
It shall be a tough battle.
It shall be a tough battle. I agree. It's going to be a tough battle. Yeah, I keep freezing. But I think it should be good.
It's cold out. All right, man. Let's move it along. Let's go over to Team Woodsy up against Team Bottom of the Barrel. Quarterback position, you have Sir Russell Wilson going out there. He has been the quarterback 3 on the year. He goes up against Baltimore. Middle of the road lineup. Russell Wilson's been playing outstanding. He's been getting it done both ways, passing and running. He has 1,704 passing yards on the year, 14 touchdowns, no interception.
Yeah, he's been having a great year.
Which is really good. However, he has had 16 sackaroonies, which is the same number Aaron Rodgers has. However, he does have 3 rushing touchdowns to match with that, so that's really good. Then we got Tom Brady at the New York jerseys. He is the quarterback 7 on the year.
The New York jerseys, you gotta love it. The New Jersey Yorks, whatever.
He is the quarterback 7 on the year. He's got 39 more passing yards than Russell Wilson. Only 10 touchdowns. He does have 3 interceptions. Only been sacked 10 times. The guy's got vision. He knows when people are coming, and he knows how to get the ball out. But he has a lot of quick slanting options like Julian Edelman. So, however, Tom Brady also has 3 rushing touchdowns on the year.
Crazy.
For this matchup, I will actually be giving the advantage to Russell Wilson. Then we got wide receivers. You're throwing out Robert Woods, the wide receiver number 22 on the year. He's got a plus matchup in Atlanta. You've been talking about a shootout. I tend to agree. If Robert Woods doesn't get a touchdown in this game, I don't know that he ever will in 2019. He's had 31 receptions. I don't know why I didn't include targets on this one. Did on all the other ones, but that's okay. He's had 31 receptions, 355 receiving yards, averaging 11.4. Oh, no, he's had 51 targets. I put it all the way on the end. 51 targets, 31 receptions, no touchdowns, 355 receiving yards, and 11.4 is what is averaging. Then you got Mr. John Brown at home against the worst team that we've ever seen. John Brown is only the wide receiver number 30 on the year.
Right.
But it doesn't matter where you're sitting if you're playing Miami. He's had 39 targets, 28 receptions, only one touchdown through the air, 390 receiving yards. He's averaging 13.9. I think he's going to have a really nice week. Unless they go up ahead early, then we could see Singletary coming in and breaking it down. But John Brown, especially for some early boost points in the first half, I think he's going to shine.
Okay.
The Barrels, they're throwing out Tyler Lockett as they should. He's the wide receiver 12 on the year at home against Baltimore. Only 41 targets on the year, but he has had 35 receptions, 454 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's averaging 12.9 yards per reception. So he's a fine play. And then Mr. Cooper Kupp.
Oh, man.
At Atlanta. He's the wide receiver number 5 on the year. He's had 69 targets, which is the most targets for any receiver on the year.
That's crazy.
45 receptions, which is the second most receptions on the year. 4 touchdowns, 522 receiving yards. But he's averaging 11.6. But highly targeted, highly efficient, red zone, third downs, late in the games. He's going to get targets.
Yep.
And he's going to catch them most of the time.
Without question. Yeah.
Yeah. Advantage. I got to go bottom of the barrels here.
I agree.
Both their receivers are ranked higher than yours. I think John Brown explodes. I think Robert Woods explodes.
But the consistency is absolutely with the Barrels.
Oh, yeah. Running backs, you got Devontae Freeman at home against the Rams. He's a running back 17. I think last week he was a running back 24, so he's moved up. He did have a good week last week. He's had 77 rush attempts, 275 rushing yards. He's averaging only 3.5, no rushing touchdowns.
Right.
I don't know that the Falcons will get any rushing touchdowns on the year unless they do some sort of weird jet sweep thing on the goal line, which I could see him doing. So he's been doing a lot of work through the air in this matchup, and actually all of the other ones. Oh, no, I guess he hasn't had that much, but more than we've seen from Devontae Freeman. He's had 29 targets, 25 receptions, 203 receiving yards. I didn't get the receiving touchdowns, but I know he has a couple or a few.
I know he had 2 last week alone, so maybe 3. I can't remember.
And then when I did this, you had David Montgomery. Did you take him out?
No, I'm leaving him for right now. I might leave him in. We'll see what happens.
So at home against New Orleans, he's the running back 34. Only 69 rush attempts, 225 yards. He's only averaging 3.2. He does have 2 rushing touchdowns. And freaking Nagy, he's just
so frustrating.
Like when they're winning, you're like, he's a genius. But when they're mediocre, like, what is he doing? He's had 13 targets, 9 receptions, 72 receiving yards. I think he could be more utilized more in the pass catching game. I think he could be used as an every down back. I don't know why we haven't seen that yet, but who knows?
It
We don't
confuses
get.
me with like Cordell Patterson getting involved
Yeah,
sometimes. It just makes me scratch my head. Like,
it's
what
terrible.
are you doing, Maggie? Whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, best of luck on that one. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him as a play. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can put Jamal Williams in. I don't know that I'd put Royce Freeman in, but Jamal has some appeal.
Including Montgomery, I think I have 3 questionable options.
Yeah. So then we're going to go over to the barrel side. They're throwing out Josh Jacobs. He's been the running back 15. He's been super stellar this year.
Yes.
Only 88 rush attempts. 430 yards though, 4.8 per carry. We've seen 4 rushing touchdowns. Not really utilized in the passing game. That could change with Terrell Williams out now. He's only had 8 targets for 6 receptions and 77 yards. And then Saquon's back at the moment. I don't see any questionable tag or anything on him, so it looks like he'll be playing.
Yes.
He's a running back
Practice
38 on the year, but that doesn't matter because he's been out.
He's been out for like 4
and he
games.
gets Arizona. He'll be back up to like the wide receiver 5 after this game. When he was in though, he was averaging 6.4 yards per carry, which is phenomenal. He gets work in the passing game. I think, what does he only have 2 games on the year? 3 games?
Okay.
Right?
I think it's about right, yeah.
That's good. My internet's so slow out here. 2.5 games, and he had 18 targets, 11 receptions for 74 yards. He's going to be a fine play. I got to give the advantage to bottom of the barrels.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
Tight end, you got Travis Kelce. At Denver. Denver has been pretty good. I don't know how, like, Denver's like a terrible team, but yet their defense is really good against the quarterback, receiver, and tight end.
Yeah, it's crazy, but okay.
So, yeah.
Like I said, I think it's just the teams that they've been playing.
That's true, too. That's true, too.
So, I mean, this will be their first real, true matchup here.
Yeah, we know Kelce anyway is like matchup proof, so whatever. He's the tight end number 3 on the year. 49 targets, 32 receptions, 497 yards, only 1 TD.
Yeah.
Going up against Delaney Walker, who's the tight end 11.
Oh wow! Okay.
Did you think that was higher than where?
I think that's a little higher than what I expected. I expected him around like 15.
15 or so. I kind of was as well, but he does have 31 targets, 21 receptions, 215 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. So at a scarce position already, 2 touchdowns. It's a nice little boost. I mean, so he is targeted. Mariota does like him.
Tannehill's going in.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, they're benching Mariota.
Oh.
This could, I mean, I don't know how this affects Delaney Walker.
Maybe we got to pick up Corey Davis.
Shit.
Dude, could you imagine? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I might have to sneaky grab Corey Davis.
You got to do it before you post this video.
Yeah. He could be relevant again.
Yep.
He really honestly could be. That'll be interesting.
I'm interested to see what's happening. Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Advantage goes to Kelce, though.
Appreciate it.
Let's see. Then you have Marquise Brown. He's been the wide receiver 25 on the year. He's at Seattle. Man, we got a lot of Seattle, Atlanta, and Rams games going on here. Seattle, Ravens. Yeah, there's a lot of good players out there. Wide receiver 25. 39 targets, 21 receptions, 3 touchdowns, 326 receiving yards. Going up against Scary Terry. They are playing in a minus matchup at home against San Francisco. However, he is the wide receiver 11 on the year. He's had 38 targets, 23 receptions, 5 touchdowns, which is second or tied for second to the wide receiver position. 408
crazy beast, man.
I
love him.
I don't know if it's too early in his career to call him matchup proof, but he is targeted and he is loved by the Washington Redskins.
I gotta say, I think this might be the true test.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we all thought, wasn't he supposed to have a test?
Against the Bears? Because he was.
I guess against New England, I mean, he only had 7 targets, 3 receptions, 51 yards, but that's still pretty commendable considering.
It is commendable. Against the
Patriots, yeah. So,
like I said, against the Bears, it seems like at least one receiver seems to
Bears,
go
he had 16 points. He had a touchdown, 70 receiving yards, 6 receptions. So,
yeah.
I mean,
so New England was his first test. This might be his second test because San Francisco has been extremely surprising. So I want to see. I know I'm playing him, but I'm extremely interested to see how Scary Terry does.
Yeah, I got
him
in another league, and I stupidly started Will Fuller the 5th over him last week in my flex spot.
Ooh,
and Terry went off last week, and I was like, "Damn it, I'm an idiot." All right, bold predictions. I got Scary Terry going 123 yards, 8 receptions, 2 scores.
Diggity.
So I think he's going to break through that matchup-proof wall.
Okay.
And then I got your much-improved Devonta Freeman. I think he blows up 175 total yards, 6 receptions. I don't know how many receiving yards, but he'll have 6 receptions. And I got him at 2 scores.
Oh, that would be so
outside the realm of possibilities with this game. However, I do have bottom of the barrels taking this one. I had the score spread by 4. I think it's going to be very tight.
You're a very generous man. I think some of these matchups, I think Saquon alone, if he's healthy, is going to just destroy some of my potential.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what. I mean, I'm sure he'll be just fine. But anyone coming back from a multi-week injury, I just.
That's true.
But we'll see. You know.
I have bottom of the barrels winning by 10, but still winning. Let's just say that whatever's in that barrel, it's fermenting. It's getting better. It's fermenting. It's getting better, man. You may have started off at the bottom, but you're working your way up. Like I said, I have you at least 6 wins total this season. So keep climbing this week.
It's the climb.
That's the climb. All right, guys. I guess that'll wrap up the regular
unspecial games.
Unspecial games. So let's go on to the very last game. These guys right here, we all know what it is. They've been waiting for us for a little bit. The game of the week.
The game of the week.
All right. This week we got Nucktown versus Prescott Sterling's. This one might be the closest game. I think I have the spread by 3. It's looking like it's going to be a great game. Let's give them a nice ring here, see if they pick up. I was getting a couple of messages saying they were having some issues with Skype. Hopefully it works out. Hey.
Can you see me?
Yeah. Can you hear us? Hey!
There we go. What's going on, boys?
Going on, man? How
you
doing?
What's going on?
Good.
With
still going today.
Bowling Green Raven.
Let's give him another. Yeah, right. Just waiting on Senor Big Chungus himself.
Yep.
The biggest Chungus.
Big Chungus. He's unavailable according to Skype. I'm not sure if that's entirely.
Yeah, no, he's messaging. He's having the same issue I was having logging in, so should have.
Okay. Well.
Man, Skype has been a real bitch lately. Sorry for using your free service, Skype, but gosh dang it.
Oh.
It has been.
Don't bash him.
It has been like the last 4 weeks. We've had some weird thing. I can't even see myself right now.
Really?
Yeah, so I have no idea what I look like. I have no idea if my hair's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys keep freezing too. Am I freezing?
No, you're. Everybody on my screen is fluent. You're
Do I
great.
keep freezing? Hold on, I'm gonna make freeze pose.
Well, I guess while he's trying to get things settled here, we can go on to an impromptu segment here that we've been talking about for a while.
Improv. I like that.
Yeah, impromptu. Commissioner's Corner. Commissioner, how you doing? You want to give us just your thoughts on the season so far? How you feeling?
Well, a lot of parity in the league this year. I like what we're seeing so far. We've got, I think, was it 6 3-3 teams?
Let me see.
I don't have it in front of me, but
There's
1,
5.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5.
a couple 2 and 4s. It's I'm liking what we're seeing so far. We got a lot of parity. Really, it's anyone's league at this point.
Yep.
It really is. I think it's anybody's league. We did our half pounder episode, giving our take on the final standings at the end of the season. We both have you finishing
Losing the Sacco by a long shot. I'm kidding.
You think I'm going to the Sacco?
No, we're kidding.
No. We have you each.
Side bet down that I will not make the Sacco. I'm feeling confident right now.
Will not make the Sacco or will not make the Sacco?
Will not be in the Sacco game.
Okay.
Not indefinitively, I'm going to make the playoffs, but I'm confident in my talent. I will not be in that game.
That's fair.
That's fair.
We do have you win with 7 wins at the end of the season here. So
Yeah, we both gave you 7.
No, we don't think you'll be in the Sacco tournament, but yeah, I mean, like you said, parity in this league. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we were looking at our quarter pounder episode versus our half pounder episodes, and it was a huge change with how many wins we gave to each person. So
yeah, it's interesting.
It's not an easy thing to do, nor an
Finish
enjoyable thing to do.
Do you okay? So sticking with Commissioner, any surprising team that you think coming out of this year, or any surprising player coming out of this year so far?
Team, I got to say, and no disrespect, but I'm a little surprised Robbie's coming out as 5-1 right now. Seems like matchups have been in his favor because he hasn't put up a ton of points, but yeah, I'd say that's my biggest surprise so far.
I'm pretty much right there with you. For a team that hasn't scored a hell of a lot, 5-1.
I don't have it in front of me. How many points does he have compared to the rest of the league?
Robbie, you have
I got it right here.
Louis got it right there. Let's see.
He's got 678 points scored. The most right now is Eric with 802.
First.
So
then Matt.
Is that the least amount of points amongst the top 6?
Amongst the top 6.
Yeah, amongst the top 9. No.
Really?
Top 6. Okay, because Chet at 7 has 673.
673. Okay.
Dale has 684. Lyjack has 658. That is the lowest.
The lowest. Yeah.
Matt's in second place with points scored.
Favor.
Yeah.
I'm in third, trailed right by Josh, who has been outstanding the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, no kidding, Josh. What did you start doing, right?
Started
0-3. Yeah.
3 straight. Team's looking pretty good. The Russell Wilson pickup really helped your team out.
Yeah, it really did. Chet, thank you. I thank you again.
Did he drop him?
Yeah. Drafted round 12, I think. I talked to him about it. And then dropped. Yeah. Think about that. Think about the value he could have had for a 12th round pick.
Yeah.
And now he's mine. How about that? All right. Danny, favorite rookie of the year so far?
Favorite rookie? That's a tough one. Probably Kerry McLaurin.
Yep, that's what I was
Yep.
thinking.
It up. I think he went
Yeah.
for 25 last week. Yeah, I mean, week to week, he's been lighting it up.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree. We just talked about him right before giving you a ring here. Such a good player right now.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Especially
in my
on
bold, I gave him a bold prediction this week of 120 yards, 8 receptions, and 2 scores. So
for
Yeah.
a player
Could see it.
on the Redskins.
San Francisco, tough D, so I don't know. We'll see, but they don't. I mean,
Yeah.
Throwing it too. I think Brennan Davis is out still.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that entire team's having some trouble now. I think even Chris Thompson's got turf toe.
Yeah. That
We'll see how that.
And Peterson.
why don't they just get rid of the turf? Then there'd be no more turf toe, you know? So
Good old grass
that's my
toe.
take on it. Yeah. They'd have to call it grass toe.
Yeah, grass toe it is.
Here.
Well, I've been ringing a few times here. Not getting a response.
What a coward.
So. Got that Snapchat where he was off work a half hour early too, and look at this, leaving us hanging. It's cool. That's cool.
Same issue. So I tried to log into my Skype account and it said I was blocked. And I had to go to like some web address to like unblock it. And he was saying he was having the same thing, but I don't know what his. Oh.
Big Chungus has joined.
Oh, there you go.
In this call, how you doing, boys?
What's going on? What's going on?
This
Yeah,
fucking
just a few missed calls.
in.
That's all right. We were filling the dead air while you were gone with the news segment anyway. So, Scott, now that you are here, how about you give us some hot takes or your thoughts?
There is no smack talk today, my friends.
Everyone stopped at that strategy after the first couple weeks.
Danny, I wish you the best of luck this week. I feel like you're really pulling through. I think you might have a great chance to beat me this week. I'm
The
trying.
fantasy gods are watching.
But see, my problem here is, I don't know who to start anymore. And Danny's just got his lineup set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how does it feel to have a healthy bench again, Scott?
It hurts.
I must say though, when Eric he gave his excellent coach's speech of positivity, and he ended up losing that game. So I don't know that smack talk isn't necessarily.
Find the exact middle. You can't be too much on the smack talk. You can't be
You know what? I think I'm gonna level it out now. Danny, you a bitch, but I think you have a decent chance of winning.
That was perfect. It was like a Sour Patch Kid.
Well, we've leveled. Okay, we're good now. Danny, what you got a hot take on this game?
No, not really. I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, Deshaun, he's got 35 at least now in 3 of the last 4 weeks, so I'm feeling pretty good that he's in his stride. DeAndre, I mean, he's got to break out of this at some point. I'm feeling good about that coming this week. I don't think Indiana's going to slow him down.
Yeah, but what about Will Fuller here? You can't discount the Fuller game.
Dude, he dropped 4 easy touchdowns last week. Feeling fine about Will Fuller.
And they kept throwing to him.
They always give him a
catch
second.
it. Couldn't catch it. DeAndre Hopkins had 9 catches last week for 55 yards. I think if he keeps throwing to him that much, he's going to break out for a lot more than that. So I'm good.
So I think I'm gonna start Singletary over Henry this week because they play in Miami. I'm gonna give my young boy a chance to start, see how he does. I might switch my decision the day before, but I'm feeling like this might be the right one.
Yeah. Derrick Henry started the season pretty hot, but he's been pretty pedestrian since then. So
That's because he hasn't played.
Maniacal laugh.
I'm thinking here, if Dallas can pull through and put up 30 points this week, I got this game in the bag.
If
This
it's good.
game really boils down to how well Dallas does versus how well Houston does.
Actually, that's exactly what it's going to be. I think this is.
I mean, Dallas has started to show their true colors over the last couple weeks, so we'll see.
Hiccups.
Philly's got a. They got
All those hiccups.
too.
Yeah, Scott, you do have a lot of eggs in that basket there, the Dallas basket. So
Yeah. The Cowboys versus the Texans matchup.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish the Cowboys were
That's
playing.
why we chose this for game of the week. The Texas Showdown.
Cowboys playing the Texans?
No.
no,
Aw.
no, the theoretical matchup.
I was like, oh shit. We definitely watched that game.
Get my shift covered. Oh my god.
Yeah, fuck that. Michael switch. We doing this.
Well, guys, any last thoughts? Thanks for joining us here. Any last words that you might want to say to your opponent?
Here are, by the time I decide who's going to play, I feel like I'm going to win by 4.2 points.
4.2.
4 points.
I'm going with it.
I'm putting it in my notes right now. 4.2 points. Okay.
He said it.
I,
Said it. 4 Wow, that's funny because that's 4.20 points. Which is
There's no coincidence.
420.
No coincidence whatsoever.
None at all.
Man. Danny, what you got for us, man? Any last words?
won by at least 10. Kittle and Breida, they got a plus matchup against Washington this week. I'm feeling pretty good.
Plus 10, he says.
Plus 10.
Plus 10. Plus 10 and a... Well, 420 versus 10. Here we go.
420 always prevails.
Well, boys, thanks for joining us this week.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Best of
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good morning, and good luck to all of you.
Yes, best
There we
of
go.
luck, gentlemen. Best of luck.
Y'all are bitches, but good luck to all of you.
But good luck.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, boys.
Game of the week. There we go.
There
How
it
do I
was.
get it?
You just hang
Oh,
up.
just hit
You just hang up.
the
just-
button.
You
And
hit
then
the
that
hang up button.
There you go. You got this.
Oh, I got
Yep. I think it's a Scott thing, you know. Oh man, well that's good stuff. Who do you have winning this game for our pickups? I guess.
This one is a tough one. It is going to be really close.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give the advantage to Nuketown. I just think they have some more plus matchups.
The Washington
that
match is matching good.
Yeah, I think Allen Robinson is an interesting flex play. I would almost rather play Alshon, but
that's tough. You know, and that Bears offense. Robinson,
I just don't trust any of the. I just don't trust any Chicago offensive player.
And I get it. I totally get it. Out of all of them, I think Allen Robinson is like the only safe bet. But there again, the Bears. Who knows what Nagy's going to do? So
Yeah, so it could be Trey Burton. Yeah,
it could be. Yeah. I actually have. I'm going the other way in this game.
Okay.
I'm going Prescott Sterling's. I have them winning by 3. It's a really tight matchup here. Like you said, could go either way. I think the Dallas players pull through.
Okay.
It's just because they've been a bit sloppy.
You think they
I
tightened up?
think it tied up. You know,
Prime time.
Philly's really bad against the pass. If Amari Cooper sits, that's prime time for Gallup. Zeke is he's a jack of all trades. He could probably get it done on the ground and get it through the air. I think this might lean towards Dallas. in that theoretical matchup of Houston v. Dallas, I think it's going to go Dallas. I think Scott's got the right Dallas players for this one.
Okay. Totally.
If Amari sits, that's really a big key factor there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the Sterlings by 3. Looking really good.
Excellent. Okay.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, what an interesting episode. You look like you're doing much better. You're doing much better.
I'm feeling much better.
It was just that first one.
That first one, time really kind of stood still for a second while I felt the pepper literally just go down and then sit for a bit. Now it's digesting. It's fine. I don't feel the burn. It's good.
Just guzzle some ranch and you'll be fine.
I've done it before. I could do it again. Oh yeah. Oh, that sounds really good, man. I like that we got to try out our new segment here, Commissioner's Corner. We might bring that up again sometime later in the season.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that is week 7. It's in the books, or at least our predictions are in the books.
Yeah, they are in the books. We got Denver, Kansas City tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. I will be watching. I haven't watched much football. I've sort of been down on my luck, but it sort of comes and goes. I'm rooting for a player tomorrow night, so
I think you got a good player going. It should be interesting to watch. I think you're going to do just fine.
Yeah.
He's in my bold predictions, anyways, and
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That gave me some confidence starting him. So,
yeah, I think you're going to do just fine. Best of luck to everybody. You know, this is going to be
absolutely.
This could be a swing week here. It could put people in prime position. It could hurt some others. So we will see. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Guys, thank you so much. And as always, go sports.
Go sports. Much love, guys.
Much love.
What it all